Hey everybody, it is June 13th, 2007, almost June 14th, 2007, and I'd just like to say that my name is Sonic Suns, and my current feeling right now is along the lines of, whoa. Perry Urban thinks I'm cool. That in itself is cool. So I posted up those videos about Enation, and I posted them also to the Enation site at enation.ding.com, to my YouTube and blip.tv crowds. You're going to have to go check those out yourself, because those said comments were not on my normal Hangouts. Also, to Joseph, I'm sorry I called you Joshua. I guess I should have looked into that. That would have been rather easy for me to do, and I didn't, so I'm sorry. But to everyone who offered their support, I'm reading your comments, and I'm watching videos with a smile. Like, oh, it's nice to have support. You know, it's nice to have an idea and feel that other people are on the same page. Alright, so I'm gonna keep on rambling, you know, because apparently that worked the first time. So what do we got with Enation? We got number one, ad hoc, right? It all happens apparently randomly, but we're all working together. And so we got number two, going right along with that, what Albert Mr. Fuller called desovereignization, right? It's not in the power's not in the hands of one guy at the top, but as much power to the people as possible. As a matter of fact, that's like the general route of society, if you think about it. Because originally, there was just like the one guy at the top that was like a king. You know, eventually you have things like the Magna Carta, or whatever it may be in various other cultures. And, you know, now the king has to share his power with the aristocrats. And then the aristocrats, and then there's a parliament, and the parliament is like a House of Commons and a House of Lords. But then, like, the House of Commons starts getting more power, and more people start voting, and then America springs up, where we want to have democracy all the way, and no king at all, and we have, you know... and then it starts spreading all over the place, and now we're going off to here. We're like, we don't even like the fact that YouTube owns our video sharing service, and we want to make things our own somehow. But in the broader sense, beyond just the video sharing service, you want to have this kind of a community, right? So our number three thing I think a lot of us agree on would be basic humanitarian principles. Things like free speech and justice and human dignity and all these things, right? And we'll start talking about those, and we'll, you know, perhaps eventually make like a list. But even if there's an official list, various people have their own different little mental lists and things like that. And number four, I want to do minimal coercion. All right. One of the problems with regular nations is if you don't like the nation, there's hardly anything you can do about it immediately. You know, like, well, if you don't like our nation, move. Like, well, you know, my house is here, and all my stuff is here, and my job is here, and everything is here in this nation, and I'm stuck with it. With Enation, we're on the internet, things are much more fluid, and we can go from here to there just as quickly as anything. Just like if you're on MySpace and you don't like MySpace anymore, then you can just log out of MySpace and log into WordPress, or, you know, whatever site you want to use. So I don't want to have to force anybody into things, you know. So we discuss things and we do things, and basically, if you're not messing with anybody else, no one will have to mess with you, you know. We want to try and be free that way. So a few things. One of the things we're going to have to be aware of, ready for, and in fact encouraging of, perhaps, is splintering. The way it works in Linux, for instance, is we have the Linux, and there's one version, and then there ended up being, like, you know, 2 versions, and then, like, 18 versions, and 1,000 different versions and stuff. And you think that'd be really chaotic, but everyone's borrowing from everyone else's code, you see. Everyone is actually helping each other, even if they're making different versions and such, right? And the best of those versions start to rise to the top of the heap. We have things like Ubuntu, which I use whenever humanly possible. And Ubuntu itself starts getting mainstream support, start getting on Dell computers and stuff now. They're offering up an option. By the way, Perry, you asked if I'm a programmer. Well, I know something about programming, but I'm not official, an expert or anything. Not yet, anyway. But you know, I know a few things here and there. Trying to remember what else I'd say, because I actually recorded this video a moment earlier, and then the audio quality was all kind of scratchy, and like, I don't want to make people listen to 20 minutes of me and scratchy audio. Or maybe I'm just being too picky, I don't know. Another thing, we want to get used to doing each little thing at each step of the way, right? So, you don't want to plan out too much. Be like, this is going to be our constitution forever and ever. This is going to be the physical structure of it. We like this forever and ever. Because then you lose the ad hoc aspect. You want to make it free and open, and we can grow in any different directions. So at each point, we go, okay, what can we do now, right? What is it that that we can do with the given resources we have? People are talking about setting up a whole website and getting venture capital and stuff. That's kind of outside of our reach right now. How are we going to get venture capital? There's like 10 of us, But someday, we may grow to some people and have, one guy who has some amount of money and some other guys that have some programming, and some one guy has a server, and like, hey, what if the guy with the money gave the programmer guys some of that money so they could go make some stuff on a server and then set up a website and then set up, once these things are available. As for what I can do, right, I'm looking at myself, a little bit I know about programming, I don't know a lot, and I don't really have the time to learn it all right now, right? But what I can do right now is I can think. And I can record these videos, all right, about what I think and start up a dialogue and start up a discussion and stuff. And so that's what I'm doing right now, right? And we do each thing as we're capable of doing it. Each little thing at each step of the way, at each moment. And therefore each thing we do is something of worth, Because imagine if we spend a whole bunch of time and energy setting up a certain type of website, and then some big new innovation comes along and like, oh, it turns out our website as we currently have is obsolete, We're only going to build stuff as we need it, so if said website becomes obsolete, we're like, oh, well, at least it was useful all these years that we've had it, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah. I'm interested in this stuff. I'm interested in, extending what we've already seen, because, well, what do we have here? What makes us an Enation? We said a thing of there being, a badge, right? In large part, that's what it is. And I was thinking that you could put that to a large number of things, right? You could put it just like you're a Democrat or a Republican, or are you one religion or the other, or you like this sports team or other. We all have these various badges in various ways, and various ways of identifying ourselves, right? So Enation becomes just another one of these communities, but one that thinks big. Whereas this Enation about how, we feel about big deals, humanitarian type stuff, but not just even the one subject, just the big ideas about how to manage ourselves and how to cooperate and collaborate and then splinter and reform and do all these ad hoc things. Because currently you have little communities, you have a bunch of fans of some TV show, the show gets canceled and they all write in their letters and maybe they get the show back on the air, right? Or you have the people that dig, and they all, do their little voting type things to figure out which stories appear on the front page of Dig, right? That's the whole idea of how it works. And indeed, there was a recent example where they kept trying to remove this one story, and everyone just got so upset about it that the story kept popping up. It was like the DVD codes or like the Blu-ray codes or something, so you can hack into it, something like that. Which just shows you the power of a community. So we're a community. Or we should be a community anyway, at least this is what I think, what do you think, that thinks and acts in general, that is as much of the big picture as we can, as much of how we collaborate. And we're writing this idea of working together in an ad hoc way, and we end up doing all sorts of things. And like I mentioned, we can say, we can tell this or that entity to do this or that thing. You should or shouldn't do blank. And we can speak to any governmental entity, and we can speak to any corporate entity. We speak to individual people if we want to.